Hello and welcome to the Cryptocurrency News Channel. Today we're going to talk about Basic Attention Token, BAT again, and why I think it has a lot of potential. Yes, obviously it's not a surefire thing. It's still in its beginning stages, and its browser is still relatively unknown to the masses. Some of us might know it, but in terms of global market browser share, it's still very, very small. But it's in the digital advertising industry because it wants to be like the new standard of payment for digital ads. Now, just looking at the industry, nearly 170 billion US dollars were spent on digital advertising by 2015. In 2021, this figure is projected to add up to more than 330 billion US dollars. The forecast for 2017 was 204 billion. So if you look at that and the 2021 forecast, I would say this year in 2019, the digital ad spending is around $250 billion. Now, that's not all online ads, obviously, but just the digital ad spending in the US is about $82.8 billion. The supply for Basic Attention Token is 1.5 billion. Obviously, you cannot actually just use the entire digital ad spending in the US to kind of gauge the potential market, because BAT obviously is not going to take over 100% of the market. Obviously, BAT might actually have some additional uses outside of advertising. If it does become large in advertising and people do keep BAT in their accounts, there are certain stores, merchants that would probably accept BAT for online spending because it has a good traded market, and some of them would be interested in acquiring BAT. So let's say 15% of 82 billion. I'm not going to use the global forecast thing because I don't know if BAT is worldwide, but I'm going to just use the US figures. 15% of 82 billion is roughly $12 billion. If you can see, we have 1.5 billion coins. That would roughly equal $8 to $9 per coin. And since it's 30 cents right now, using only 15% of just US digital advertising, if it needed to represent that, each token would actually need to be $8 or $9 using just 10%. Now, that's assuming that the entire supply of BAT is actually available and no one's just holding it in their own holding it for their own supply. And we know that's not true because whales hold a lot of the supply of any coin. So if you only say, like, let's say 30% of BAT is actually available for using as moving money online, then you basically have to multiply that by 3.3 and you get something like almost $30 per BAT to move the internet advertising dollars. However, that's the internet advertising dollars per year. I don't know if you guys know how like AdSense and a lot of those other internet advertising dollars work. Basically, they pay you each month, and then most people will cash out to their bank accounts. So you would have to do some calculations per month. By the way, so 30% of the total supply that I have available is about 3 times as high as I use for the amount of like XRP or XLM available in my calculations for remittance. So if I actually use if I use the same amount as XRP or XLM, the price of each BAT would actually have to be much higher, but I'm just using 30%. Let's say like a more conservative estimate. 30% is available just for transacting internet dollars, advertising dollars. Of course, there's going to be more uses. Like I said, merchants will probably start to accept that, and that's not internet advertising dollars. That's just commerce dollars online. Like I said, if there's a lot of advertising networks willing to accept this coin, it becomes accepted, and people see the flow of it going, I do believe that online merchants, at least smaller ones, will accept BAT, and that will help improve its use case as well. In terms of use case right now, there's only about 5 million users of this browser per month, and I don't really know what percentage of those are actually paying or subscribing customers. But I can also see BAT token being used kind of like Coil to pay for subscriptions like Netflix or Hulu, and that could actually be a big market for Basic Attention Token as well. The browser is getting some traction because it's ad-free, but they will actually pay you to watch ads if you opt into the Brave solution. I don't know how exactly that economic model works, but I'm guessing the advertisers do get a cut of that. And if they work with both advertisers and content producers, that can be really big. They need a decent amount of subscribers who are actually using the paid solution, and actually incentivizing them by paying them money to watch ads could be a good idea. I know like in the late 90s that the All Advantage, Utopia, and all those things kind of fell through because they didn't have enough money. Hopefully the plan behind Brave browser is much bigger than that. They can probably make some money just selling basic attention token, and working with both users, advertisers, and content providers. They can really make this like the new thing for internet advertising. Of course, they would have to work with large players like YouTube, Facebook, to work out some kind of deal with their own ads. But BAT, based on its adoption rate right now, and it's only been out for about a year, and it's got so many millions of users. It actually has a good head start in this economy. I can tell you right now that between BAT and Coil, because I use both of them on both my website and my YouTube channel, between BAT and Coil, BAT has a lot more adoption than Coil. I just see the income rolling in on both of them, and there's more income on basic attention token than there is for Coil. So right now, in terms of internet advertising adoption, people subscribing to the service, BAT is definitely in the lead. And even if it can gain like 10-20% of the browser market in the future based on its innovative features, this price of this coin should go to $8-10, maybe even $15 if you have a good FOMO. Now, at that point, the FOMO won't bring it from like $15 to $45. It'll probably be more of like a 50-60% increase because there'll be a lot of money trapped in it. But even if BAT reached $15, all that would mean is that the marketing supply would the market cap would be $22 billion, and that is still a very small fraction of the entire digital advertising supply. So it could actually go much, much higher based on how much utility BAT gets and how many advertisers actually use it. If AdSense actually started using BAT, or if one of the large advertisers actually started using BAT, then that would be a huge boost for it, and I think that would boost up prices massively immediately. But I think it's going to start targeting some of these smaller sites, some of the smaller content producers, and some of the smaller advertising networks for us to use BAT in money transfer. And for that reason, I do think it will take a while to be successful. So I don't expect this outside of a giant general market FOMO. I don't actually expect this to take off anytime soon. I do expect it to pan out over the next 4 or 5 years if it's successful, and there's always a chance that it could actually fail. So that's the risk you are actually taking. But based on the adoption of the browser right now, the amount of money I'm seeing come into my Brave account from my websites, I mean, it's paid in crypto, of course, from both my websites and my YouTube channels, I can say that adoption is going pretty well for BAT. It's going much better for BAT than some other programs. And I actually do think there is a large seeable potential in the next 3 or 4 years that this could actually gain 20-30 times your money. So this is definitely one of the better tokens to actually invest in. Just based on the numbers of the digital advertising industry, just 20% of it, you can see that BAT can be far higher than the price right now, just based on utility. It is still a bit a ways away. It is still quite a ways away, but of course, like I said, because of the amount of people that I see subscribe to Basic Attention Token, and actually I can see it growing month by month, and the amount of I can see like more people donating to my BAT account as well. So that's actually where I see this market going. I do think it can take a decent chunk of the internet digital advertising industry. And I think that makes it worth the risk and quite profitable to put some of your money into it. This is kind of a market that there's not that many competitors in. It's not like remittance or supply chain where there's tons of coins in it. This internet advertising industry is not one that I know any other large coin to be really targeting. I think BAT has a very good lead in the industry. So that's my review on BAT. And that's the report for today. Check out my social media. It's in the description. Check out my DLive and also my Patreon. It's in the description. I'll probably have DLive has like these little free coin giveaway things or whatever that I do every once in a while. So check me out there and join me on streams on YouTube, DLive, or Twitch. Thank you and have a nice day.